Misha, certified clinical herbalist, master naturalist, and a plant lover and botanist here in sunny Sarasota, Florida. And I just finished up a really awesome foraging and plant walk class. And one of the questions that everybody wanted to know was what books are out there to give me more information about these Florida medicinal and edible plants. So I thought today I would share with you some of my favorite books. So first of all, before we get started, I want to tell you a secret, or maybe it's not that big of a secret, but the truth is there really isn't one book that really covers all or even a lot of the edibles and medicinals in Florida. We have some books that are great for edibles, but we really don't have anything yet as of, let's see, it's May 2022, that really covers a lot of our native Florida plants. So keep an eye out for that. It doesn't mean that they're not medicinal. There's a lot out there, but there really hasn't been anything written. So a lot of the books I'm going to be recommending to you today, they may not be Florida specific, but that's okay because you can pull from different sources. So don't be afraid to do that. It's totally appropriate to do that. But let's start off with two books that are great about edible plants. This one is really like the classic. There was another version of it that I didn't bring with me, but it's older, it's much thinner, and it is by Peggy Lance. And she is really the lady who I literally wrote the book on Florida's wild edibles. And this one, that is what this one is called. Florida's Edible Wild Plants, A Guide to Collecting and Cooking. And in this book in particular, it's divided up, it's alphabetical, and it's divided up not just by the name of the plant, like maypop for passion flower, but also a lot of times by the grouping. So like here we have a whole section on mints, and then we'll list some of the different mints as well. The other thing about this book though, that some people might not be particularly happy about is it does have images, but they're not with the plant, so you'll have to go to the color plate section. For me, I'm just so thrilled to have a book that's on edible plants in Florida. I don't care. I think it's fantastic. And there are a number of illustrations as well that makes it very easy to read as well.
This book also has a variety of really fantastic recipes. Many of these are tried and true that Miss Lance has shared over the years, and they are a wonderful and great option for folks that are getting into foraging and want to know what to do with the items they are collecting. Now, Peggy Lance has another excellent book called Florida's Incredible Wild Edibles that's out on the market. It was co-written with Richard Dorling, and it is another great reference. However, it doesn't have as much information as her more recent publication. If you want something to carry with you that just has some listing of plants and some very general information, this is a nice choice. It would be good for beginners and also just anybody who's kind of curious about the wild edibles, but maybe not wanting to make a huge commitment. So this is a quick read. It's only about 70 pages, and you can finish it pretty quickly and get a nice introduction.
This one, I don't know, I just happened across this one, I think on Amazon one day, and it's actually copyright 2019, so it's a newer book. It is called A Beginner's Guide to Edible Florida. And this is by Don Philpott and Noreen Coral Engstrom. Now, what's cool about this book is Mr. Philpott is a ranger, or was a ranger, and did a lot of work outdoors in Florida, and Ms. Engstrom was a volunteer that worked in a lot of the parks in Central Florida and kind of northern Florida in the Wekiva Springs area. So both of these people spent a lot of times outdoors. Miss Lance did as well. Like again, I just really want to give credit to her for kind of being the grand dame of all of this. But these guys also really know their stuff, and it's great. I really like this book because every single plant has a photo next to it, which is really, really nice. The other thing that's really fantastic about this book is even though the cover says edible, it actually has quite a bit of medicinal information too. Now, understand, quite a bit is a few sentences, but that's more than you're going to get in a lot of other books. This book also has cautions, which I like as well. It does tell you kind of what to watch out for and any particular contraindications that might happen. So this one in particular, I think these two together are wonderful complements, and if you're looking for something that's Florida specific and will give you edible as well as medicinal, this one is a great choice for that. That's it. That is really all of the books that I have that are easy to find and carry around with you in the field. So for me, when I go out in the field, it's less likely, like for me to take one of those, I'm more likely to take a plant ID book because I want to know which plants I know, or excuse me, I want to know which plants I'm seeing, and I am usually looking for specific plants to see if they're edible, and then if I see a plant out in the field that looks exciting, I'll ID it, and then I'll come back a lot of times and check these books. We also have some really great books that are not Florida specific, but they are wonderful in terms of figuring out what's edible. Pretty much any field guide by Peterson that says edible plants on it. Now this one is just edible wild plants, and similar to the first book we looked at, the color plates are kind of in the middle. The rest, this is an ID booklet. So you'll have the name of the plant, kind of where it's found, how to identify it, and then usually off to the side you've got the line illustrations. This is really typical of a plant ID book, and this one is intended to be kind of throughout North America. Now since this one was published, I think I got this in like the 80s maybe, so it's an older copy of it. They've done more booklets, like more Peterson guides and other different types of guides for the Southeast United States, but there are lots of great plant guides. We'll do those in another video, but this is specifically for the edible plants. And I think there's a medicinal plant one as well. So these are great to carry with you in the field. Sometimes if you see a plant, you might not be able to identify the exact one, but you can look at this and get close, which is super helpful. We also have a really great general one by Corey Pine Shane. This is Southeast Medicinal Plants, and this one is awesome. I had the honor of getting to meet Corey Pine, and he's great, and he does a really beautiful job with this book. And if you look, there's gorgeous photos, a lot of information in this book on how to identify, how to wildcraft it, and where to find it and when, which is super important. You don't want to go all the way out there and not be able to find it, and the medicinal uses. And he's an herbalist, so he really knows his medicinal uses. So this book is amazing in that regard. The downside is we don't have a lot of these plants in Florida. And we have a good number of them, but some of them unfortunately you're just not gonna find. Like Solomon seal, it's not in my area. We're not gonna find some of these, like the sassafras. It's tough because a lot of these, if you go farther south, we can find some of them, but like partridge berry, mullein, motherwort, we're not gonna find them growing wild here. So this is a great choice if you're in northern Florida, even like central or even northern central, so like around Gainesville area. This is an amazing book, and it's a great book just to have anyway. But if you're wanting like south, because I'm in Southwest Florida, if you're wanting Southwest Florida specific plants, this one is great for a lot of the general plants that we have. But in terms for some of the narrower scope, they will not be in this book. But it's an awesome one to have because he goes into so much detail about the medicinal uses and also the herbal preparations, which is great to know for all of those plants. Now I have one more, and I said earlier, like this is it in terms of the edible and medicinal plant books that are Florida specific that I know about, but there is one more, and I guess I should have said that that's it for the ones that I would take into the field, because the granddaddy of all of the Florida medicinal plant books is this guy. This is Florida Ethnobotany by Daniel F. Austin. This is one of my favorite resources when I am learning about a plant and I want to look and see how it could be used, how it was used. This is really the book I turn to, and you can see it is thick, it is big. I would not take this into the field if I was just doing plant identification. But again, when I come back and I start to study and I start to dive into the literature, this is a great book. This book has a lot of information that you will not find online. You will not find kind of like out in the general populace about when people are talking about different plants. So this is a really lovely one. It's very, very well researched. And what I really like about it is that it does an excellent job of bringing to light some of the traditional uses for the plant that the indigenous people in Florida used, and not just that, but also in the surrounding area. So there's a lot of information in here about some of the Caribbean uses and some of the uses in Mexico and South America as well, which helps us to understand how the plants may have been used in this area as well.
Each of these books is available on places like Amazon or Barnes& and Noble. We, though, recommend getting them directly from the author or from the publishing company if you can. That way you are helping out some small businesses. Corey Pine Sheen's book in particular, you can get that straight from him, and that is really awesome because you can support the authors directly.
So that is a quick and dirty overview. Maybe not super dirty. I'm a little dirty because I've been out in nature. But that's a quick review of some of the different plant books that we have available to us now in 2022. You know, everybody's getting really excited about our medicinal plants here in Florida, and so hopefully there will be some more coming soon. But for now, that gives you some ideas of some of the great books that you can find to help you learn more. Take care, and I'll see you next time.